Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off, plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code LISTEN50.
This is Reusse for the Canopy Group. Are you tired of being stuck with just one insurance agency and one company? Most agents represent only a single insurance company, and that can be very limiting. But you deserve more options, more agents, and more companies to choose from. The Canopy Group offers you the expertise of 50 specialists to access 16 trusted insurance companies. While some names like Auto Owners and Progressive may be familiar, there are other companies too, each with unique coverage options tailored to your specific needs. And your life and circumstances change, the Canopy Group works hard to find the best coverage from a company that specializes in exactly what you need. Are you sure your home and auto are properly insured? Don't settle for one-size-fits-all coverage. Get options with the Canopy Group. Visit thecanopygroup.com today and take the first step toward better, more personalized coverage. Thecanopygroup.com.
Well, I'm waiting. Why did the Timberwolves play the late 8:30 start?
Guys, TV, baby.
I figured that, but it was on
ESPN.
Local TV here.
Yeah, but ESPN had it on, too. It was the second game of their night doubleheader. So. And they get to go to Oklahoma City and get beat tonight, too, back-to-back.
Hey,
so,
we
yes.
beat the Thunder last time.
Yes, but we had, I think we had Rudy that time, don't they? They're like the Wild. They're missing a lot of guys except the Wild win, and they don't.
I heard a hot rumor that this upcoming offseason, one that'll be busy in the NBA, that the Thunder might get Kevin Durant back. Can you imagine if that team added Durant?
I don't want him.
Really?
Let SGA do the work. Let him do it, you know.
Who's SGA?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
who's the MVP. He goes and gets 35 every night. Throw in a deal with the Clippers about 4 years ago, right? The Paul George trade way back when. But so I got to tell you this.
Yes, your Monday sports section is no bigger than the St. Paul
They
papers.
did that on the day after the Super Bowl. I almost threw up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I go to the Gopher basketball game on Saturday at 1 p.m., Penn State.
Yep.
And they bring out a lady who is, before the game, Louise Quam, has been a season ticket holder for 75 years.
Oh, boy.
Setting the all-time record.
Mm-hmm.
And
she was at the game.
She's at the game, and she's 90, but I say I got to go down and see Louise at halftime and get the story here, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be an exclusive because nobody else is going to do that.
Right.
But I go down and I talk to Louise, and this is a first. I met a woman who had a crush on Whitey Skoog.
Really?
I thought that was pretty good. She was a 15-year-old at Murray High, St. Paul. Where was Murray?
Murray, and they were called
the Pilots.
The
right?
Pilots. Murray Pilots were in the state fairgrounds area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would have been, because the Murray football coach,
Como area.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. The Murray football coach and my Uncle Frank were like the best of buddies, but I can't remember what the Murray guy's name was. But she was a sophomore at Murray, and she said, I had a crush on basketball players. And so she bought a season ticket. It would probably cost her $1 a game, right?
Yeah.
At 15?
1950, yes.
Wow.
Folks gave her the money, and she bought a season ticket. And it's about 10 rows back midcourt. And she's in the same seat 75 years later. But for 50 or 45 of those years, she only had one seat. She was married to a Lutheran minister who was also a basketball referee, which is an interesting combination. You get called all those dirty names on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday you preach, right?
Yeah.
But he refereed all those years, so she would drive from Marshall, Minnesota, to the Gopher game and drive back by,
be kidding.
By herself.
No, there would have been too many blizzards.
And then, well, she missed some games. She's
Yeah.
not saying she never missed a game, but she also lived in Manchester, Iowa.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours, and she'd make the trip. And that is Mike Grimm's hometown.
How about that?
And the Lutheran minister, her hubby, that was in Mike Grimm's, whatever we don't call them parishes, whatever the hell they are. Congregation. And later, when Grimster got married at Izades, that guy came up and married him on the first tee.
This damn world's too small.
Her husband married the Grimmer. And
Did Lois? Is her name Lois?
Louise.
Louise. Did they have kids?
Yeah, they had 2 or 3 sons were there, and they were the ones that leaked the info to me. That she told me she had a crush on basketball players, but then one of her sons said Whitey Skoog. She was very impressed with Whitey, who was, I believe, came from Brainerd and was
She couldn't have been too pleased with the result.
No, they were terrible. They had a 9-minute stretch in the first half where they didn't score. And they had a 6-minute stretch in the second half where they didn't score. Wow. And Ben came in and tried to tell us that the team just wasn't involved enough, and went ahead, didn't pick up the same pace they had in California. Well, for the whole game, did you watch any? No,
I did. I caught some of it, the game.
Penn State would pick them up. Sometimes they semi-full court press. But they had guards. They had 3 guys who would stay in front of our guards, and the Gophers' guards couldn't do anything about it. They were handling the ball 27 feet from the basket the whole night. They couldn't get by Penn State. Penn State killed them. Penn State lost 11-12, and then they won last week on Wednesday. They kicked the hell out of Nebraska because they got their 7-footer back, but Penn State was better. That's why they beat them. They were better. The Gophers stunk, but the Penn State was better.
The Gophers are inconsistent.
Yes, but you got to look at you know why they beat UCLA. Now, that was a big upset.
I don't know why.
Free throw defense. Oh. UCLA missed it was 7 of 17 in the second half shooting free throws or something.
Well, how can that be?
They were throwing rocks, and they won 2 games, and Southern Cal's no good with Eric Musselman. They got beat again, but they won 2 games in 80 minutes. They led for 3 minutes and 38 seconds in those 2 games. So
back to the story of the young lady that's had a 75-year run as a season ticket holder.
Is now 90.
Listening to you,
pretty sprightly too, I'll say that.
Listening to you kind of connect all of those dots. You really don't get that kind of information on a broadcast, do you?
No, you don't. You don't. No, we don't get that background.
Actually, you do sometimes.
I don't know.
Depends which sport you're listening to.
I don't know if the Grimmer told his audience of his connection to the Quam family.
I got a question about Louise.
He had to know he did, yes.
She
Louise
lives in Marshall?
Not anymore. She did live in Marshall.
Where she
but
live
25 years of... What I'm
getting to is, did she drive herself to the game Saturday?
No, I think somebody drove her, but she lives in a senior apartment, but she's not a senior,
She doesn't need their help yet.
No, she walks up on the court and, she's fine. Yeah. But her husband died a couple of years ago. They were retired in Northfield for 25 years, so probably the last 30 years, she hasn't had the 5-hour drive or the 3-hour
Marshall to the U of M is how long? That's got to be, what did you say?
Well, back, you got to think. Now, she's driving there, in the 50s and 60s. So that's in the 60s, that's a long hump because you didn't have as good of roads as they have now.
Right.
So.
Man, I wonder what kind of car she had.
I wonder what she did have. Probably a old Packard to start with, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, could be.
Could have been a Packard. Yeah.
Studebaker.
Studebaker, something like that. But she was great. She was just sharp, and the Sons were very proud of her. We got a bunch of photos, and of course the Star Tribune Sunday did not run one. If you're going to have something in on a 90-year-old gal watching the Gophers,
I would have preferred a photo.
My theory is you have a nice little photo of her sitting in the crowd, which we had, but we didn't.
Did you have the art?
We had several art options. We had the Gopher options, and her son took some photos of her and sitting in the stands watching, and that made it online, but it did not make it in the print because we slapped those babies together now. So,
did you watch any golf over the weekend?
Not, I turned it on and I never heard of the guy who was leading, so I turned it off.
Very few players that I recognize in Puerto Vallarta.
Now, when they first played in Mexico, and Hollis was involved when they first went there, they were one of the world golf events. Remember that for about 3-4 years?
Yeah.
When the trumpeter lost his at Doral.
Yeah.
It went to Mexico for about 3 years. And then they went away, and when they came back, it was this. It's a B squad.
I did not know who these people were.
It's a B squad. I had no idea.
I could recognize maybe 5-6 names.
Yeah.
Joel Dahman.
Yeah.
He made some money this week
all the
again.
time.
I know, and he's made money the last couple of weeks.
Didn't he win last year or something? I think he finally won after 100
you're
years.
thinking of, he was in that, wasn't he in that Netflix golf special?
Yes, he was.
And he's a journeyman.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to see what.
But the guy who won
what
it.
He won.
The guy who won it, he's got to be a foreigner, right?
Bill Campbell. I thought a guy named Bill Campbell won it.
I thought Gugu.
No, he lost in a playoff.
Oh, really?
Campbell,
okay.
Who went to Illinois.
Borga Golgovich or whatever the hell his name was.
What was I just going to look up? Mexico
Open. I think.
Open purse. That's all I want. The Mexico Open.
I bet he made 2.5.
No. I'll bet you not.
I bet he did.
The winner?
Yeah.
No way. It's only a $1.7 million purse.
No.
Maybe I read that wrong. I don't.
Can't
What's
be.
his name? Campbell.
Never heard of him.
That's because he's never done it. He's missed 10 cuts in a row. He won this.
Wow.
He's 31 years old. His name is Brian Campbell.
Never heard of him.
He was a top amateur at the University of Illinois 10 years ago. He turned pro in 2015. He went through the Korn Ferry Tour to earn his card in 2016-17. But he was 180th in FedEx Cup standings in 2017. Lost his card. He's been on the Korn Ferry Tour for years.
And he wins.
And he won the damn thing.
Now, who'd he beat in the playoff? Give me that guy's name.
Pete Buttigieg.
Man, where's he from? He's got to be from Czechoslovakia.
Well,
interesting career change for Pete.
You know what now? Dang this thing.
Yeah.
I had a little trouble here with the. I got a story for you about how I screwed up the. Well, just a minute. I lost it. Damn it.
I can look it up for you.
All right.
Get me
Don't
the
worry
purse
about it.
for the Mexico Open.
Mexico.
Yeah, they were paying big there when they first got the tournament, but I don't know. You know what I want to do?
$7 million purse.
Okay, what
Field
was
of 77 players.
first place paid what?
All right.
Wow.
Bear with me.
Bet you it's not over 2.
1.8, 2.
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
2.
go 1.8.
Brian Campbell is your winner at $1.26 million.
Wow.
Wow.
I told you it was low.
Cheap.
Aldrich
Podgate.
Potchager was second at $763.
What Joel Damon win?
Joel Damon finished tied for sixth, and he won $253,000.
This is where you can get your golf review on Mondays when nobody gives a damn. But
Now
that's
look
okay.
up the poltergeist guy.
I just did.
Hey, well, where's he from?
Oh, look him up. Okay, I can do that.
I have not heard
Gotta
of
be
him.
somewhere in Europe, right?
That ain't no American name.
No, that ain't no American. He's an immigrant.
He must be
Aldrich Pottinger is a South African professional
African.
golfer.
Okay. Well,
20 years old.
Oh, my. He's got quite
a big
career
fella,
ahead of
too.
him. He can hit it.
Grandpa was an Afrikaner then.
Maybe.
I would say back then, Grandpa might not have been in favor of apartheid. Might have been in favor of apartheid, not in favor of the end of apartheid.
The Wild
Grandpa probably thought Nelson Mandela was actually where he belonged. So.
Hey, the Wild had a very nice win in Detroit.
Win, Detroit, and then they play them again
tomorrow night
back
here.
home, right?
Yeah.
They have, in the month of March, with all the high school tournaments going on, 11 home games in March. It's
really?
Weird, yeah. It's really weird.
They just had a month where they hardly had
They
any.
had three.
February.
Yeah, February. Yeah. They had three. So it's because...
What's this weekend? Is it wrestling?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going out to Watertown Mayor when we leave here.
Okay.
To do a piece on for Wednesday. I love wrestlers. Fascinate me. It's the worst occupation. It's the worst sport there is because you get to go out and you win and you celebrate for 2 minutes and then you worry how much you weigh. Right? You got to lose. Okay, now that I drank 3 gulps of water, I'm 5 pounds overweight, and I got to lose that before I wrestle.
That's what I remember from high school days, where the kids on the wrestling team constantly wondered if they could even eat anything.
Yes, right. Spit. If they can't spit. I wrote a thing on this Gopher, a couple of Tyler Wells from Princeton, and he's 100.
God dang it!
He was. What are you doing? You're kicking.
Well, the chair is hooked on my thing.
So Tyler he was the 2-time 113-pound champion in the state, but when the second year, he would have to lose like 12 or 15 pounds between. Yeah. How do you lose 15 pounds when you weigh to get to 113? That's 10% of your body weight.
Where are you going? West? Watertown Mayor's west?
Yep.
Straight on Highway 7. I was just there yesterday.
How far out 7 past Minnetonka? Nothing. It's 10 minutes past Minnetonka.
Pat will probably take you, an hour and 20 with traffic?
Well, you're not going to the border.
Okay, let me do it right here then.
Watertown ain't that far from Minnetonka.
I was just there yesterday.
Well, you weren't there. You were someplace else.
Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. It's going to take you about 48 minutes. I thought I was going to be a little bit longer than that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, everything's farther from where you live.
Well,
because you live damn near in Iowa.
That's true.
I don't understand.
That's
why
a neat high school, though.
Young people don't move to the sustainable urban core like you and me and lead an urban life.
That's right.
How's that working out for you?
Well, it's a little pricey.
I think, you know what I think, though? I think that if we were going to sell, we probably should have done it 2 months ago. I think the home
a little
market
tight right now.
The home market's going to be very loose. I think very loose here when we start, getting rid of some of the workforce. So,
you have a Twins report for us.
Not really, except they've had 9 hits in 2 games. Are they playing even as we speak?
Yes, we're playing the Tampas right now.
In Tampa or at our place?
Let me see.
And we've not had a TV game yet.
No, not locally televised. That's correct. You know who's going to be good? Reavers, are
Who's
you ready
that?
for this?
Give me.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Somebody.
That pitching staff they have is incredible.
Yeah.
Skeens, Jones. They got 4 young ones that are going to be fantastic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they have a pretty elite closer too? That Bednar kid, isn't he really good?
Yeah, he's been good too. Yeah, they're going to be good. And you know the story of baseball right now, Joe?
I don't.
St. Louis. Fans are irate. They're threatening to boycott.
Why?
The owner basically told them ripped them, right? The owner ripped the fans for
St. Louis, the greatest baseball town in America.
This guy's screwing it up, and they were mad at him last year. They went in the tank, and it was about the 3rd straight year of underachieving, and then for the first time, it was like August something. For the first time in the new ballpark, which is 15 years old at least, right?
It was opened in, what was it, 07,
They
08?
announced less than 30,000 for the first time.
That never happens.
Now the season ticket sales have cratered.
Why? Because they're not spending any money?
They aren't spending any money. It's kind of like here. The people are mad.
Well,
at
they're
them.
essentially trying to have someone just take Nolan Arenado from them.
Yes. Yeah.
And he has a no-trade clause. And he says,
Among baseball's horrific set of problems
Yes.
is you've got about 5 teams that can spend money.
Yeah, that will
That
and
are
the
spending
Cardinal.
money.
I mean, the Cardinals could, but they. I don't know what they're up to.
The Dodgers spent $407 some in the last 2 off seasons. The Marlins have spent $5 million.
Oh yeah, it's.
Well, there's got to be some sort of economic parity
Here's
here.
what-
You're not going to have a game.
Here's what you have to do. The owners can get out of the contract after next year. They can opt out, which they have to do. And you're not going to get the. I keep saying this. You're not going to get the NFL salary cap. Boom. You're not going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start punishing them much more severely for being over, way over. Like, don't let them participate in the draft. Don't let them participate in the international market. And at some point, don't let them sign free agents. That you can't. They got to do something. They can't. And Manfred keeps saying, I don't blame the Dodgers. Well, who the hell else are you going to blame? You got to blame the Dodgers.
Well,
and by the way, they're letting the Dodgers get away with murder with this Ohtani thing because it's all deferred, so they're not counting it. So you just announce, no, it's prorated for however many years the contract is. That's what your salary cap, that's what your salary number is. Just announce that.
But but the affliction is hitting just wonderful Americana. St. Louis, Chicago is a great baseball town, or could be. It's just dreadful.
Yeah,
how's Detroit going to do?
That could be
Detroit
okay.
could be good this year, but
What, Cleveland?
Cleveland, they got to the ALCS, and now they've cut back, and they let Naylor, one of their best players, go for no reason because they were afraid of having to pay him after this season. So they basically downsized again. So
How about Cincinnati? When's the last time they were a
They
threat?
made the playoffs in the COVID year. They had a good year, but that was such a shortened campaign. But I think they made the playoffs that year.
They don't draw much anymore, though.
No.
And that ballpark is. The funny thing is, they're all starting to say, we could use a different ballpark or new ballpark or stuff. And
They're saying that in Cincinnati?
no, I don't think so. But
Because I like that
a lot
ballpark. I
of
think it's
places.
neat. On the river
Well, the
there?
Cincinnati Park ain't that old.
No. But what I'm saying is, they all want improvements and blah blah blah. And I don't think our appetite for improving anything is going to be.
Is
too
that
strong
why
here.
our guy backed out of the Twins deal, Ishbia, to help
I don't
the
know.
White
He's
Sox
getting-
get
He's
us?
getting a piece of the White Sox.
You know why he was the front runner? Because he's the only name we heard. That's why. He's the only guy that leaked it out that he was going. We have no idea how serious of a candidate he was. But, oh, no, Ishbia is loud. Who gives a damn? Look at him. He spent money in Phoenix. What good does it do the brother? They stink. They're way over the cap. And I don't buy the fact that it's here's what I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping that Marty, that Glenn takes $100 million and gives it to put it in the pot. The poll ads keep $200 million worth of the deal. Somebody else, and Marty gets the team. That's what I'm hoping. I'm still holding out for the Davis clan, because if we had Marty, man, it would be fantastic. Marty'd be on the PA system, apologizing to the crowd like Ray Kroc did.
Sorry,
man.
we stinks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Marty would be great.
Are the robotic umpires coming to the big leagues?
No.
Thank God.
They like this stupid challenge. Have you seen the
Pat,
challenge?
I'm glad you're bringing this up. I told you guys I was listening to the ball game on the radio, and it was the tail It was about the 6th through the end of the game yesterday on the radio. And you could hear the disdain in Gladden's voice. He said, well, I guess we're challenging this one again, too.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait, we're already doing that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was coming this year.
Challenge, but the thing is, apparently if you're right, you keep your challenges.
Oh, dear God.
And they keep challenging. And MLB likes it because they put it on the board and the fans go, ooh. That's why they like it. Oh. I think the electronic strike zone is a disaster. Look at the NFL example. The NFL example is screwed up officiating helps the game. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Because people got something to complain about. Mm-hmm. They got to sit there transfixed waiting for the result of the replay. The electronic strike zone is stupid. We got to have the umpire to scream at us. What fun is it?
Right.
Right?
You're here to bleep us.
That's right.
Here for one reason.
Yes. And what they should do is get on the umpires for the quick trigger throwing guys out of the dugout now for saying, hey, that was a ball or something. You know, they got to.
They got to lose the rabbit ears.
They got to control the thing. But I don't know, the grand old. When ESPN's bailing, you know, I mean,
that's so bad.
They tried to cut the amount that they were paying them, and MLB said no. But losing, you know, ESPN isn't the giant they were, but they're still the number one sports outlet, and they'd rather have soccer than baseball. How do people watch soccer? How do you do it?
I've tried to.
God, how do you
but
do it?
But I can't. I don't know why
how do you do it. The other day,
Did you ever cover the kicks when we had the kicks?
A couple, 3 times.
Me too, and it was difficult.
But the drunkenness of the crowd
that was fun.
Came in handy. And then if you were paying attention, you could pick up. You know, you could see some debauchery in the parking lot. But
there was a bit of that.
Yes. But, so that was good. But I was covering the Twins when they were in their heyday, though, so I only got out there a couple of times. So, but
I don't know. To answer your question, it's a world thing. There's a different part of the world that loves it.
I watched about 5 or 6 minutes of our opener the other day when we got beat 1-0. And I watched 5 minutes, and for 5.5 of the 6 minutes, they were just kicking the ball back and forth to each other out by the 50-yard line. Mm-hmm. You know, I was looking up something I wrote on it though. When the kicks first came, the play-by-play guy, I don't think they were on the radio, but they were on the TV once in a while. And it was Frank Butel.
Oh yeah,
Frank was sitting there smoking a cigarette during the whole. You know, he did everything. That's when Channel 11 was the independent station, and they did all the sports. And Frank would do the soccer, and he'd give it his best effort, but he'd always call it the blue line and stuff like that because he did hockey. And he had the terms all messed up, but the kicks. They were fun because everybody was drunk and was crazy, and they had shootouts too. We don't even have shootouts in this tie games. So,
Alan Willie.
Oh,
was that
he's still around? I think he's still around town.
Yeah,
most of them are still around town. Jeff Barnett died a couple of years ago. And
did you pay any attention to the Four Nations hockey tournament, which is utter made up BS?
I didn't watch a lot, but hey. You know who made that a big event? The trumpeter.
The Trumps.
The trumpeter starting the feud with Canada.
Yep.
And we had 3 different column opinion things in our paper saying the other sports should learn a lesson here from the Four Natures Cup. Well, so what do you want us to, the baseball, to get Japan over here and have a...
We're going to buy Japan.
Yeah. If we can get Trump to threaten Japan, maybe it'd be a good rivalry then. But I know. And plus, the other thing is, when you're playing Canada and you're your big rival, it's not a big long trip to go.
Right.
When they get a home game, you get a home game. Yeah, you're playing Tokyo. That's in the middle of taking a week off. That's going to be tough.
By the third period of the final game Thursday night, the teams. I think they wisely realized we got
a season
Saturday,
to play,
and they did not at all kill each other.
No, No.
It was a great game, but
Did you see that? But AI was in full blossom after the game.
AI?
Yeah, because they got McDavid's press conference.
Yeah.
But they're putting all these words in the mouth. The Canadians are putting all in. Bleep the United States. I hate the United States. The whole. There's nothing you can look at on social media now and trust it.
Well, I was going to say, how do it know?
Yeah, how do
I don't know.
Oftentimes I've got to say, Joe, that's not real. Mm-hmm. Did you see
I've
this?
gotten sucked in a few times.
I can be.
Yes, you and Patrick have both been duped
I
a
got
couple of times.
sucked in a few times.
Although the one he shared earlier today, Pat, was our buddy J.L. Coven, as he described that Trump is going to declare himself the new pope.
Okay.
and your donations will be PayPal.
He might. He's more of a lunatic than I thought, really, which is saying something. You know what? I know we have a lot of believers in the president here, but he does tell a fib once in a while.
On occasion.
Yeah, he does.
Really?
Because some of the figures that he uses of money, and like we gave, 300 or 400 billion to Ukraine, and it's 90.
I don't think it was that much.
90 or something like that. So. And then
he added a zero.
And then somebody I saw on Twitter put out, Trump's ready to review how Poland invaded Germany to start World War II, and people are saying Poland didn't invade Germany.
I know is
kidding, you morons.
All I know is if Biden and Obama cozied up to Putin, the same people.
Oh God, yes.
Would be they would be going out of their minds.
Yes.
Why is it okay if Trump gets to?
Now there are some. I love these stories about Trump has been a Russian agent since the 1970s or something.
So, you're back to what can you believe on this thing?
Yes, that's nonsense. And the other one is that the assassination attempt was a setup. Mm-hmm. Because he didn't get wounded that bad.
Where'd they find the kid that volunteered to die?
That's what I said, the same thing. Yeah. Hey.
You don't mind, do you?
We got a deal for you, Bill, or whatever your name is.
And it's not like he even became famous. He's disappeared from the face of the earth.
Yes. You shoot and try to hit him in the ear.
Hit him in the ear.
We'll kill you.
And don't bother if you also take out a fireman who happened to be in the seats.
Yes, right. Kill two other people, and then you get killed. That doesn't make my side look too bright. It's a setup. Look at this.
I got news for you. Your side ain't too bright.
No,
neither side right now.
No. It's a battle, man.
It's a battle.
It is a battle.
I know you. You have to like some of what Trump's doing. This getting rid of dead weight, that ain't all bad.
Yeah, but
there's no but.
Well. Calling in the disabled vet who's been there forever.
I'm not going to get rid of a disabled vet.
Well, Elon's getting a few of them. I think Elon's a Nazi. I don't think he is. This was a Nazi salute.
No, 100%. What was it when Walz did it?
Walz waved.
Oh, that's a Walz wave, but when Musk does it, it's a Nazi salute.
Walz did not go.
He did. Yes, he did. Okay. He did. Just this.
He didn't do it twice.
Dom DeLuise Jr.
He didn't do it twice.
Oh, he did it every stop. Every stop.
It was 100%
Why am I fighting
salute.
so hard?
I don't know.
He's a Nazi salute.
Not a Nazi salute.
He's a Nazi with 13 kids. He's
got having kids have to do with being a Nazi?
Listen. When you were a young girl in Germany during the war, you were supposed to have babies for the Führer. Yeah. That's what Elon's doing here. He's having, we're having babies for the Führer. He's raised 13 of them so far.
We're not having babies for the Führer.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Okay.
Although if you wanted to argue that he doesn't even know who the kids are, I'd go along with you.
That's right. That's true.
He likes one of them. He lets him follow him around, the little kid that X or Z or whatever.
You know, the other thing that my side is doing is they're having too much. They're ripping Don's son too much. I mean, the kid's, he's a lump, okay?
The kid?
The kid.
Or Don's kid?
Don's kid.
Barron. Yeah. I thought you meant.
He's a lump. It's okay. He can be a lump, you know.
But Don's also got kids. Aren't those older guys his kids? Jared and those guys?
Oh, yeah.
Those are his sons.
But this one is
This one's a bit of a tall, quite quiet fellow.
Oh, it is an interesting time, to say the least, isn't it?
Is Melania living at the White House?
We don't see much of her, do we? No. What was with the hat?
No, we don't.
What was with the hat?
I know, she looked like Natasha.
You know? Yeah, right. From the cartoon.
The cartoon, Boris and Natasha.
Boris and Natasha. Yeah. I didn't get the hat. It's like she didn't want anybody to recognize
right down here where you couldn't tell what she was looking for.
Oh, God almighty. But I had some successful fishing this weekend on Twitter. I got my favorite is this
some
guy.
Successful fishing.
Fishing.
That's all you live for, is to troll
right.
people.
Yes. I got one guy who keeps sending, you still haven't commented on women playing men's sports. You're gutless. You won't comment on transvestites playing men's sports, transsexuals. There's 12 in college sports.
Transvestite was when you and I were kids.
Yes.
That was a guy who might like to dress up in a dress.
Yes.
That's not what transgender is.
But what I'm saying is this guy always, he said it, and I always send him back saying, listen, I've already told you this. Once the NFL figures out the kickoff and straightens out this idiotic kickoff that looks like a Saturday Night Live skit, then I can worry about less important things. And he goes nuts, so it's great.
Hey, is the NFL dropping a new bombshell rule change for this year?
I don't know.
I saw an allusion to it. I didn't read it.
What would it
on
be?
The Daily Mail, I think.
I hope they're getting rid of the tush push.
Maybe that's it.
Well, you know what week this is?
What?
It's big.
Is this draft week?
Is this league week?
No, this is Indianapolis. Why can't Combine? It's big.
Yeah.
This is big.
Will that be televised?
I think so. I think it's
God,
on
yes.
the
Hours and hours of.
What about the draft?
It'll probably outdraw
No, that's
baseball's
not till
playoffs, too.
Oh, God, yes. The Combine. Yeah.
So the draft is the end of April.
Has any newspaper editor ever asked either of you to cover a Combine?
No.
No, I never really would, I don't know. I would probably send somebody down there.
Right.
I don't know. Because that's where all the coaches and everybody
Sure.
are.
I was just curious if there was ever a response.
Well, I know what mine would have been, but I never got asked to do one.
Did anybody see the ratings for the NFL, like flag football game and stuff like that?
No.
They probably,
I'd be embarrassed to see if they beat baseball.
Oh, yeah. God, yes. Probably beat the 7th game of the World Series.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, what else we got?
That's all. I got to go get a phone call from a new client.
Hill Murray girls.
It was a wonderful game.
The Murray. How far is Murray with the old Murray High School from Hill? Were they right next to each other?
They were
like
mile apart on Larpenter.
Like Cretin and Durham Hall.
No, not that. Murray was on Larpenter and Century. Mm-hmm. And Hill was on Larpenter closer to White Bear Avenue.
And what did they make those Murray girls dress up in?
They had the bad gray skirts. And,
long skirt down to the middle of the knee. Yeah, and the blouse and a little tie type thing.
I hope they still all wear uniforms. I think they must.
I guess they probably don't.
Yeah. But they're at the Murray location.
Oh, really?
They didn't take the Hill location. The Hill location is Mounds Park Academy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's good. Hill Murray, there's several, Johnny Pohl and Chrissy Wendell. They're big in the Woodbury hockey program, and they're running the Hill Murray. Johnny's the AD at Hill Murray, and they've got some girls from the Woodbury program that. I've always said that my granddaughter's chance to get good varsity time kind of depends on how many players Hill Murray steals. So,
In other words, she might have a better shot playing for Woodbury.
No, I said how many. How many they take to.
Pat, that's not stealing. That's just a call to a better academic
yes, that's right.
situation.
Yes,
same with that Cretan doesn't recruit.
No.
Except in North Dakota.
They do have 4 Division I recruits in basketball, but they, including a kid from Fargo, Anneman.
Well, if you're out of state, that doesn't even matter, does it?
Tom Diddy's grandson. My buddy Tom Diddy. Always said, he and Porter got, by the way, Louise, Terry Porter, he's my man from Marshall, the Clad Division I, St. Cloud, I covered him. He's great. They were the backdoor neighbors.
No.
I called him. He said, the Quams are great people. Louise is still going to the games, for goodness sakes. So, anyway. Small world.
Do we have to pause?
Nope, we don't need a pause, but I do need a Valley group before we go.
Well,
all right.
Okay,
we're good.
We're good.
Yep.
Jim Paul and Brett Paul.
Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. Have you people run across any of these ads about the Envision SUV? That is a tremendous looking machine. It's not huge. It's just the right size. And we now have very low interest rates. And we also have factory rebates and huge stock. Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings also have the Sierra heavy-duty trucks. Great supply of those also. Come on, get out there. Buy the kid. The kid's turning 16. Buy the kid either a heavy-duty truck or an SUV. Let's go. Let's do it right here. Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, great deals. My guys in Apple Valley, I've been dealing with them since 15 years ago. They're tremendous.